So let's be real for a second. It's super easy to stay positive when things are going well, right? When you're landing those interviews, you're moving forward, you're making progress, maybe you even landed your dream role. It's so easy to love your life in that moment, to be so positive, to be your highest self, the best version of you. But what happens when you're doing all the right things, but you're not seeing the traction? And when the rejections pile up, when you start feeling stuck, maybe your confidence starts to take a hit. Maybe you just received another rejection. This is your moment for that. Because in this episode, we're going to break down how to stay motivated even when things are hard, because life's, right? We have ups, we have downs, and things change and they shift. And I don't want to talk about fake positivity today, but I do want to talk about mindset and the mindset shifts that it takes to really pull yourself back into your highest version and the best version of yourself. So let's get into today's episode. Hey, it's Irina Pozan, and welcome back to the Career Cravings Podcast. This podcast has a simple mission. It's to help ambitious professionals like you build the career and life that you've been craving. Over the past 15 years, I've worked as an HR leader, designed hiring systems, led recruitment teams, and I've sat on the other side of the hiring table. I've seen what works in today's job market, what doesn't, and what separates those good candidates from the ones that actually land their dream roles. Now I'm bringing everything I've learned straight to you. Each episode is packed with actionable insights and tools to help you land your dream role sooner. Now let's dive in. I'm so grateful you're here. So first of all, if you've listened from episode 1, I love you. Thank you for your support. And if you are someone who is just tuning in today for the very first time, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And today's one of those episodes where we're taking a bigger view and not focusing in on narrow job search, but really focusing in on the big picture. And before we even get into today's episode, one thing I want to touch on is you may have noticed, if you've been here for a little while, that this was a weekly podcast. So I was publishing 4 episodes, like one a week. And since July, maybe you've noticed, we started publishing 5 episodes a month. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but I love this freaking podcast so much, and the outreach that I get and the messages that I get, they really keep me going. And I kept thinking, I was like, I really want to start recording 2 episodes per week. And I was asked to actually publish so many other topics that I'm not even talking about on here yet. And I want to do all of that, but the capacity wasn't just right. And I know I made a commitment this year in 2025 when I launched the podcast. I said by the end of the year, no matter what, come hell or high water, there will be 50 episodes published here. And now that's not changing. But I'm like, how can I take it a step further with the capacity that I do have? Because I want to pour into this space so much more. And maybe next year or the year after that, I'll be able to get to a place where I'm publishing 2 episodes a week. But for now, I'm super happy to announce that you will see 5 episodes here a month. So what that looks like is the schedule isn't changing. It's like every Tuesday, but from time to time, you're going to see an episode drop on a Friday. And sometimes it's going to be likely the last Friday of the month, but on a Friday, you'll see an additional episode drop every single month. And I'm so excited to do that. And I hope I get to do more bonus episodes in the future. I'm going to prioritize that. But there's a lot of things, really exciting things going on. I haven't even been able to come on here and tell you yet about the amazing live podcast event that I hosted in Toronto called Career Cravings Live. It was like the best day of my entire life. It was so good. And I can't wait to share more on that and give you a sneak peek behind the curtain of how that's a whole other episode. It's not why we're here today, but I just know I have so much more to say on so many topics, including job search, including reaching your goals and goal setting and motivation and mindset and life, right? So more to come on all of those good things, but let me know if that makes you happy, if you're just as happy as I am to hear that there will be 5 episodes that will continue for the rest of this year. Getting back into what we're actually here to talk about. The question that I often get is like, how do I continue to stay positive when the market's like this, when job search isn't going well, when I lost my job, maybe something is going on in your personal life that is making you have trouble staying positive right now. And I want to say that that is totally normal. And in life, there are ebbs and flows and there's ups and downs and all the things. And trust me, I've been through it. I mean, I've had cancer. I've gone through a really messy divorce in terms of my parents getting divorced when I was younger. There were so many things. And I know very well the ups and downs of life. And it's hard. It's hard to stay positive. And one of my greatest gifts, I do believe, is positivity. And I want to share today how I cultivate that even when things are really, really tough, because I know it helps people and it may help you today too. You may need to hear this. You may have come here for a very specific reason and need to hear this message. And maybe it wasn't exactly what you expected to hear on today's episode, but that's why you're here. So we often in our life, we focus on what we want next, right? And I'm super goal achieving, goal oriented. I love thinking about what I want next. And at any given point, I will achieve a goal and I will think about what I want next. Okay. And this is what I call the gap. I do this all the time. And actually, this isn't going to change. And I'm not suggesting that it does for you, but I do want to address what happens when we focus on the gap. So I'll give you a very specific example. When I landed my very first role as an HR administrator, I worked at this financial technology company and it was like day one, maybe week one. And she wasn't even my boss. She was like my boss's boss. And I met the HR director and she was so fabulous, classy, beautiful, kind, well-spoken. I respected her so much. And she had spent her whole career in HR and she worked in HR for many, many years. And I was just starting out. And when I met her, my brain instantly, so keep in mind, I landed my dream role at the time, right? Landed my first role. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I have no experience and all those good things. And then I meet this woman and I'm like, if I can also be an HR director like her one day, I will just die of happiness. And that imprinted into my mind. And from there on out, that was my goal. Of course, it was a long-term goal. It wasn't going to be the goal that I achieve in the next 6 months or anything like that. But it's something that imprinted. And I'm like, this is the North Star. This is where I'm going. And hopefully that's where I'm at when I'm 40. By the way, I'm not 40 yet. And that's kind of just what I thought. And we always focus on what we want next. So there came a day where I did land that job. An HR director role. It was even better actually, because it was focusing on talent, which is the part of HR that I'm completely obsessed with and dreamed of having. So I landed that role and I kid you not, within a month or two, I was already like, what's the path to VP? What's the path to CHRO? I'm going to write my executive designation. Like I already was in the future planning on what I wanted next, focused on the gap when I had just achieved what I thought I wanted my entire career. And what does this do? It makes us unhappy. It makes us focused so much into the future that we can't see what we just achieved right in front of us that we should be grateful for. And when you don't take a moment, and of course, I celebrated that offer. I actually remember me and my husband, if you guys know the Keg, we have a Keg near our house, which is like a steak restaurant, if you don't know. And they do this thing where they have this huge Billy Miner pie at the end where if you're celebrating something, they're going to bring you this like huge ice cream cake essentially. And it's freaking amazing. So I remember I celebrated that offer. We went to the Keg the night I had my final interview. And I remember sitting there with my husband and we have date nights without our son. We try to do that every week. We're sitting there having a glass of wine and he's like asking me something. And I'm like, yeah, so like, I know I got this job. And he's like, how do you know? And I was like, the interview, trust me, I know. They were asking me what would it take to leave and what would I say if my company countered? And I'm like, trust me, it's in the bag. They asked how quick I would accept an offer. Like, this is my job. And he's more skeptical. So he's like, okay, well, don't get upset. So that day, I remember the server coming over and saying, are you guys celebrating anything? And I'm like, yeah, I just got a new job. So we started celebrating it early. And like every date night for about a month, I remember we did either cheers to it or something. So trust me, I do love to celebrate the little wins, little successes along the way. Now, that being said, right away, gears shifted. I'm focused on the next. And maybe you're doing this right now too. Maybe you're thinking about what you want next. which is totally fine. And maybe it's that next job, maybe it's that next vacation, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's that next income level. And I recently was speaking to a client where she landed her dream job, Sydney. She was actually on this podcast like a couple months ago. And she said, it's my dream job. And I wanted a job where it could have potential for growth. And that's amazing. That's exactly what she got, because during the first week, they were already priming her to be a business partner, which is so exciting. But what I realized from that conversation is she's not grateful for the moment now. She's grateful for what's to come. And that's so natural. And I do this myself all the time. But I just thought, can we not just celebrate the moment and be where we are, right? So I'll be happy when I land that next job. I'll be happy when I'm making $250K. I'll be happy when it's my next vacation. And this is such a slippery slope of not appreciating where we are today, which is what I love to call gratitude. It's like gratitude could be so many things to so many people, but the way I think of it is being happy where you are right now, just to be breathing, to be alive. If you're in between jobs, you're unemployed, are you happy that you have more flexibility than you had recently? And you won't have that when you land your next role, that you can take a walk in the middle of the daytime and not feel guilty for it, right? So there's always something to be grateful for, even in a really hard time. And I want to just bring us back to this topic and show you how you can also cultivate gratitude wherever you are right now. And you may be in a season where everything's perfectly working out for you. That is the best. And I'm so happy. And what I would do is just every day be grateful for how amazing things are going, because it won't always last, right? Things change. There's seasons for things. There's seasons where we're growing, learning, and everything seems to be like flooding in. And recently I've been feeling like this about this business. Everything is just flooding in. Everything is going better than expected. Everything is going so well. Like, clients are landing roles left, right, and center, even though it's a tough market, and like everything is just going so well. And I'm truly living my dream in that I dreamed of my whole life. And then the reality is that I can also sit and think about how overwhelming that is and how there's so much to do and how I'd love to record, 2 episodes a week, but I can't because I have all these responsibilities and so many different things happening. And all I know for sure is that there are multiple ways to look at the same situation. And I would challenge you to look at your situation, whether it's a hard season or a great season, with the lens of gratitude. So instead of staring at the finish line that you haven't even crossed yet, which by the way, you will, you're going to achieve that goal. You're going to get exactly what you are hoping for. I know that because that is what happens in life. And even if it's not exactly what you expected, it's the way that it's meant to be. So what's meant for you is coming, right? But I want to talk about the reverse gap. Okay, so we naturally look at the gap ahead of us, right? The job we didn't get yet, the weight we're not yet at, the vacation we're not yet on, the job we don't have yet. And we forget that today we're living a version of our dreams from the past, right? There's some element of our life that is just so incredible. Like maybe you started over and you moved countries or something. You dreamed of doing this. And like, yeah, it's hard now, but literally you're living a dream that you once had. It just is a new level, and new levels, new devils, right? So looking back and realizing how far you've come will make you so much happier in your life. I'm telling you. And I am someone who literally my whole life since junior high, I would say consistently since grade 7, I have had a journal and I've written in it almost every day. I'd say every day, but that's kind of pushing it because sometimes I'm on vacation and so on. But I'm obsessed with journaling. But what I find, and right now I'm looking back because of this secret project that I'm working on, but I'm looking back through my journals, like I'm looking back at my journal from before the time when I met my husband. Like I'm looking back all the way and I could see what I did on a daily basis. But what I see consistently is gratitude. And I gratitude journal every day, but I gratitude journal even more when things are tougher to bring me back to positivity. And this is a skill. And now I have trained my mind, even in the hard situations, to truly see the best, the silver lining in any moment very quickly or fairly quickly. And this isn't fake positivity. Literally, my mind now goes, okay, well, what's the good in this? Because this is something that I've done consistently, and I would love for you to do it too. So in my journals, I always love to look back and see how far I've come. Now, you may not have kept a journal with how far you've come, but I want you to think about this. And I'd love for you to write it down. That would be even better for your brain and really locking it in. But if you're facing something challenging right now, what I would challenge you to do, play on words there, is think about how far you've come. Even look at the last 2 years. I love to do this like every year, but look back in the last 2 years. What have you accomplished that you're proud of? What have you done? Maybe some huge life milestones have happened for you. Maybe you got married, had a baby, moved jobs, whatever it is. Maybe you're in a job right now that you don't love anymore, but at one point it was your dream job. So that doesn't mean you're going to like trick yourself into staying in it. Of course not. But to be grateful for what you have now, because the next season will be different. For example, you land that dream role next. If you're not careful, you could be like me, where you landed and like 4 weeks in, you're like, all right, what's the next one? And then you're unhappy again, focusing on the gap and trying to strive and get there. And it really is a disease when you do that. And always focused on what's next, what's ahead. I'm not there yet. I'm not good enough yet. I don't have this yet. And that can be very draining. So I would challenge you to think about the reverse gap. What gap did you have previously that you are now living in, where now this is your dream? Look back at what you've accomplished with gratitude. Look back and see how far you've come instead, right? Instead of focusing in on that gap. Where you once started, right? When I think about the start of my career, wanting that director job and then landing it a decade later, right? Amazing. And it wasn't it. And that's okay. This really works when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're going through a lot, or there's a lot maybe that you hadn't planned on, or things don't feel like they're working out. This works even better. But like I said, if you're in a season where things are just going amazing, it's even easier. So what I would challenge you to do is journal, right? Journal 3 to 5 points today of things that you are grateful for. And it could be as simple as the sun is shining, or you had a sweet moment with your family. So gratitude is the highest vibrational frequency that we can feel. And the reason we want to land our dream roles, and the reason I'm so passionate about this, is because what we really want is not the role itself. What we really want is happiness, peace, right? We want to live in these moments where we are fulfilled. We feel like we are in our element. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, or feel like we're on track with what we wanted. And that happiness doesn't come from a job. That's what I've learned. I mean, there are so many elements that make an incredible life, a very full life. One of them is your vocation, or what you do, your career, but there are so many other elements. But at the end of the day, we're really doing it for the happiness that we get to experience. And sometimes it's fleeting. So what I want you to know is that you can use gratitude as a tool every single day to be grateful for where you are right now, to be present in this incredible moment while striving for the next, while looking at the next opportunity. I love excited anticipation for the future. I love having big goals that scare you, that you're working towards, but don't lose the gratitude that you have for today and this moment that you're in while you work for the next thing. This energy, this high vibrational frequency, this is going to get you in a very inspired mood. This is going to get you magnetic so that you can be your best when you are speaking to employers or when you're at work. If you've been here for a while, you probably already know this story, but I remember I was so happy after I landed one of my dream roles, which was an HR manager role at the time. I was so happy that I would drive to work every single day with a huge smile on my face. And because I did that, I was super quickly promoted in that role to a next level that I didn't even think I was ready for, the senior manager level. And this came to me because of my frequency of gratitude, because I was so happy in that role. So then people could see that I can attract that next level. So what I would say is gratitude is way more powerful than you know. It is your energy, and it is such an incredible tool for shifting where you may be in one mental moment when things get hard and being able to see all of the other incredible things going on in all of the other aspects of your life. So I know it's easier said than done, but being detached from the outcome. So say your goal is to land a role. Maybe it's not going super well right now. Anticipating the excitement you will feel while being grateful for where you are now and being fully detached from the outcome, knowing that it's going to be coming, knowing it'll be on its way, and not taking it personally like something is wrong with you if you are not where you thought you should be in your career right now. And maybe your gratitude looks today like, I'm grateful I haven't given up. I'm grateful I am learning something today. I'm grateful that I heard this podcast maybe. I'm grateful that I'm working towards the future of who can handle the next level, right? These are incredible things to be proud of. So I will leave it at that. Today's a very short and different episode, but I hope this episode leaves you with something to think about that you are grateful for. I challenge you to make a list of 3 to 5 things right now, or come back to this episode to make that list later today, because this will shift your mindset, how you think about where you are, and attract even better things for your future. And I have a very small ask. If this episode resonated with you, if it is what you needed to hear today, maybe someone in your life, a friend, someone needs to hear this message too, please send it their way. It helps me so much. And if you haven't yet, please leave a review and rate this podcast. It would mean the world to me, and it would be what I'm grateful for tomorrow when I see it. So thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm grateful for you. See you in the next episode. Hey, before you go, if you've enjoyed listening to today's show, I would love your support. Please take a moment to leave a review anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And here's the exciting part. I'm running a special contest and giving away a one-on-one session with yours truly. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and send it to me in my DMs. All of my contact info is in the show notes. I appreciate you so much, and I cannot wait to build the career and life that you've been craving together. See you next week.